So y'all, let's talk about real world. So I watched the last episode and David decided to go home. Just as he did in 1993, even though last time it was not his decision. Okay? Y'all, something's wrong with David. Something is wrong with David. And when you see the difference between David in the fucking 90s wearing the Malcolm X jerseys and talking about black people getting a fair shake, and we fast forward to him now, spouting out these ignorant things and allowing for Tammy to be the only black person, you know, defending black people in that house, it made me feel like David's psyche is weak. David's spirit and mind are weak. And I don't mean that to like fuck over him or anything. But what I mean by that is, y'all, when people have been beaten down so much in life, there are a couple of things going on. But when somebody has been beaten down so much in life, the way I feel like David feels like he's been beat down in life, you can't carry the weight of the racism shit. The weight of the racism shit, the strength that it takes to have these conversations with people, to have these interactions with people where they are outwardly offending you and making you feel uncomfortable. And white people don't even know that when we are by ourselves with you people in numbers, we often fear for our safety slightly. Even if we don't really, think anything's going to happen. If I was Tammy in that house with all of those people, even with the cameras and everything being around, it would be exhausting and tired to be the only black woman standing up and saying what black people are feeling and saying. It's tiring. And I feel like David doesn't have the strength to do it. So he's going to take the easy way out. He's going to Uncle Tom tap dance his way out of the situation and put the blame on Tammy and act like Tammy was wrong. And, Tammy was so wrong for holding them accountable. No, David, she was not. She was not. She's just stronger than you, and you're mad about it. And you've always been mad at the fact that you felt Tammy was receiving something that you weren't. You felt like people took Tammy's side back when you snatched the covers off of Tammy. And that was the issue from the very beginning, because I think it created a victimization inside of David. So David has been holding on to all of this entire time, right? We get here, everybody is apologizing. I feel like they shouldn't have been apologizing to him, because ultimately, yes, the situation is fucked up, but you have a responsibility in it. You did something that you perceived as funny, and it was not. And honestly, if he would have went and talked to those three women when they were sitting at that table and gave them the respect of saying, y'all, I'm sorry, I have been drinking. I didn't mean for it to come off that way. I would never do anything to hurt y'all. Tammy, I was just joking. You were laughing. I didn't understand in the moment that it was upsetting you in that way, but now I do, and I'm very sorry. I would never do anything like that again, and I would never do anything to hurt y'all. I'm sorry I exposed myself to y'all. I was drunk. I was tripping. I was wilding. I'm sorry. If he would have came down to those women in 1993 and said that shit, I feel like everybody would have let David stay in the house. But because David wanted to dictate the terms of the way he had conversations with these women, first of all, you can't ask women who you've made feel uncomfortable in that way if y'all can have a conversation privately. No, you can't talk to me privately, you crazy ass nigga. Don't you understand that my issue with you is that I don't feel safe around you now? That's what you don't understand that? All he had to do was come down and apologize, but he could not do that, because back then it seemed like David just refused to take responsibility for anything. I hate that he was labeled an artist, but at the same time, nobody called him that. Nobody called him that. And I really do feel like had he not exposed his genitals to Irene, she would not have said, and I will pick up the phone and call the police and yell R. She would not have done that if he did not expose himself to her. And he did. And everybody didn't talk about that. Tammy didn't even talk about that in her reviews. Tammy does really great reviews on the show, you guys. I cannot wait to see her review of this last episode. But he did not grow. I feel like because he was labeled an artist and everybody felt like that was fucked up, he was able to see himself as a victim. For the past 30 years of his life, he has seen himself as a victim and that they did something to him. So now he's back in the house and he can't be held accountable for blowing fucking weed smoke in people's face without him feeling like they're trying to make a moment. They're trying to make him seem away. Nigga, I just asked you to not blow weed in my face. Is that like really? Really? They couldn't even ask him to do something as simple as not blow smoke in their face without him jumping off the fucking ledge. He is not well. He's not well. Yeah, they know. White Beth S. Is that what it is? Is it Beth S and Beth? Whatever the Beth is who was a lesbian back in the day, I fucking love her. I liked her. I ain't gonna lie. What a lesbian Beth. If I would have been in 93, I probably would have tried to get with lesbian Beth in 93. She was really cute. She had a cute little haircut and shit. I was like, well, all right, you know, white, fuck it, I even white fish in 93 was cute. And you know, as an older woman having Beth A, okay, it was Beth A. All right, Beth A and Beth S. Beth S was the one who was trying to keep the cover on Tammy and all of that. Beth S got shit with her. She a white woman, so she got her Karen shit with her. But ultimately, I feel like she like nobody was really trying to call him that. But honestly, I feel like thank you. All Beth said was that's just like an artist by not understanding when someone says no, which is true. Exactly, y'all. When they were having that argument in the hallway, I totally understood what she was saying and I agreed with what she was saying because what he was saying did sound like that. What he was saying did sound like that. And then on top of that, they also said, and I really wish Tammy would expound upon what she meant because Beth wasn't the only one that said that he was touching them or had done things besides the pulling the cover off that was like a culmination of things. Because I saw Tammy say he had touched her in other ways that made her feel away before that. I wish that she would talk about that because I feel like a lot of it was our culture. Not our culture, y'all. Our culture, okay? Y'all know what I mean by our culture, right? Okay, grape juice culture. Grape culture. I'm going to say grape culture, okay? The way things were being handled, basically. And the way he felt like he could still do that. Beth did it, Bondi. She called him an artist back in the day and carrying the fuck out the situation. If it was up to him, Tammy, they would have squashed it. I know they probably would have. And she probably did amp that situation up because she is a Karen. And it was probably greatly her responsibility and why he could not stand her while they were on the show. She couldn't even have a simple conversation. Like he was blowing that smoke in her face on purpose. He was. Because David, even though he sat there and cried and said he forgave everybody when they apologized to him, he then turned around and basically made them pay for everything they had done beforehand in every interaction that they had with him. Okay? Yes, David had been making the ladies uncomfortable. He did. Lesbian Beth needs to teach a seminar on for Karens. She does. She was incredible. She was incredible from the moment she got up to comfort Tammy when Tammy was talking about the body dysmorphia and nobody else did. Like, believe heavy drugs drinking. Listen, I said that I thought that David had done drugs over the years and everybody wanted to argue with me and was talking about, no, he hasn't done drugs. Well, he has a drinking problem for sure. And that can be just as bad. Okay, that alcohol can be just as bad because people don't feel like it's a drug. They feel like they're okay to just be drinking all day. But he is nonsensical, y'all. When Tammy was trying to have a conversation with him and he was running through the house screaming and hollering at everybody instead of just having a conversation like a grown-ass man, something is wrong with him. And I also feel like I am wondering what he has taught his daughter. His daughter seems like you probably raised that girl to be extremely problematic. Probably think she the shit because she biracial, because you've bucked her head up about that, because you're a colorist. I feel like the Wayans brothers was making fun of him when they remember y'all remember he the black guy who was all into. He was Hotep, oh, my beautiful brown sister, my, beautiful Nubian sister. Can you tap that white girl that's standing right? Oh, yes, my milk of magnesia. He's one of those. In the 90s, you were all black man, black power and shit. And then go and get your white girls. And then today you're talking about Tammy's wig and how your daughter got hair all up and down her back. Like we read those subtle cues very well around here, okay? And all of those subtle cues tell me that you probably taught your daughter she doesn't have to be accountable because she's a biracial pretty girl with hair down her back. Because I didn't like the conversation that his daughter was having with him, because I think a lot of what he has expressed to his daughter has been from the standpoint of these people did something to my father. These people tried to make my black father feel like he was an artist just because da 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 da. Ain't they though, Keenan? Not Damon. Not Damon. I don't think Marlon either. I think Marlon and Damon both have been with black women. But either way, David is just nothing has when in 1993 Tammy said, I don't think David has learned anything. I think he'll be the same. When I tell you that lady was right, you were right. David blames the cast for his lack of career when really it's the fact that he's impossible to work with. He doesn't take any accountability. You can tell. You can tell. I'm gonna tell you why. People hated Tammy more. David was able to go and work with Dave Chappelle and be on the Dave Chappelle show as a writer after. Okay? After. So it wasn't like he wasn't out here making his money. Tammy, on the other hand, had to struggle and go back on fucking food stamps after her marriage with Kenny dissolved. And then she had to go and be on Basketball Wives and be the brunt of jokes, and then had to act like the angry black woman. Okay? I mean, she didn't have to, but that's what she did. And I feel like they used that to their advantage to make that show pop, bringing her on that show. Because I think it was Shawnee's attempt to stay up here while having drama that's down here so that you can pull everybody to your show. And her friendship with Tammy, I feel like, was one of perpetration, where you were trying to act like you were really friends with her because you knew that she would be a great pull to your show. And you brought her on a show with somebody that your rich girlfriends can make fun of, but maybe y'all can pretty her up, have her on the show so that she can bully the other girls, you know what I'm saying? And then she'll be the villain while you get to act like, you're the just the executive producer that's above it all. Right. Like Tammy was homeless. Right. Tammy was on welfare. Tammy went through a lot after what happened. And when we get 30 years later and Tammy is on television shows and is acting for real, okay, and ending up back on this show, and then we see David not able to take accountability, can't have a conversation, nervous wreck, can't stop smoking, can't stop drinking, obviously not healthy. Even though Tammy, I really, really wish you didn't still have that body image issue. And I know you do, but I really wish that you didn't. Just saying. I really wish that you didn't. And I'm not gonna say nothing else after that because I really do love you. And I feel like I know you watch me enough that I don't want to offend you. But I really wish that you did not feel that way about your body. But ultimately, you are doing Tammy's doing extremely well for herself. I'm very happy for her. I'm glad she was able to turn the narrative around for herself in a positive way. I love her on Miss Pat show. When I tell you I love her on Miss Pat show, I'm waiting for that to come back. Yes, David also had that car accident. Actually, he had this miraculous revival of that, right? Because that only happened a couple of weeks before the show, or a couple of months before the show. He had that big gash in his head. So don't get me wrong, but I feel like that has nothing to do with why David is the way he is. David is the way he is because that's the way David is. Because when you watch him in 1993, before that, his attitude and the way he was erratic back then. He would be screaming on people and acting crazy back then. It's just worse now because he's older and he probably doesn't have the strength to hide it, with jokes and shit the way he used to. He doesn't even try to be funny now. And all Tammy has to do is show up as the woman she is at this point. And to me, that should let you know how those scenarios actually played out. Tammy went on to eventually pick herself up and do what she needed to do for herself. If you ask me, Tammy did provoke him. When did she provoke him? When did she provoke him? Which time? She can't help it, but she's coping and sharing. I know. It just makes me sad. It just makes me a little sad. Because I remember when she had a little bit more weight on her. And, I just always felt like she was just so beautiful. There was a softness to her when she had a little bit more weight on her. But like I said, I didn't want to say that because I don't like to say, how I feel about her body don't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? How she feel about her body is what matters. And I just want her to be happy in that. And, not see a 300-pound person when she looks in the mirror because you look 90 pounds. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if the body image issues returned after being on reality TV again because she was thicker when she right. And I'm wondering if seeing herself on television made her like pick herself apart, and that makes me sad too. But either way, I'm just happy to see that everything is turned around for her. But to me, it doesn't even matter. David is unstable. And I think that a lot of y'all always want to look at things like it's him versus her. But really, what I'm saying is Tammy mentally is healthy, was able to communicate her feelings, was able to have conversations with people. Still, she's herself, but she was able to have conversations and communicate her feelings in a way that was not counterproductive. She even talked about the body dysmorphia, which we all know is extremely hard for her to do. So at the end of the day, Tammy has grown as a person, the way she's handled her children being gay. Okay, because I feel like it's the feminine one that came out, but that other one is bisexual. I remember her saying that, and I've been saying she was gay, child. Oh, Jazz. I've been saying Jazz was gay, but Jazz say she bisexual. I said, okay, Jazz. Okay. But it's fine. But either way, Tammy had to grow a lot as a person. And I feel like when I see somebody actually being different versus talking bullshit, that's what I like to see. And so David is somebody that I feel like has not really made those changes in his life. And you can tell because every confrontation that he had, he handled it badly. Every confrontation that he handled it like a man that cannot have a civilized conversation without trying to victimize himself. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like every time somebody said something, I'm a victim. Why are you saying things to me? I'm a victim. You weren't a victim in 93. Not really, sir. I'm going to just go ahead and tell y'all that in real life, if a man on the street exposes his genitals to you, you can call the police on him and have him arrested. You can. Right. She wired her mouth shut as a diet on the show. That shit is crazy. Every time I see that clip of them wiring her teeth shut, I'm like, just because of the teeth thing. David is lost and he's not interested in being found. This right here. Okay. And as far as the other people on the show, y'all know how I am about these things. I think John is sweet. I appreciate the lesbian Beth and her son, her trans son coming on the show. It's just sometimes it'd be so hard because it's like, child, if you don't look like the cutest little teenager, I'm gonna let it go. But I appreciated that conversation because I feel like as a bisexual woman, it is so hard for us to understand not liking being a woman because of how much we appreciate being women and how much we appreciate other women. So it's very, very hard, I believe. And I saw myself in Beth when she was having that conversation with her daughter, with her son. Y'all, I'm sorry. But I'm thinking about how the young man looked, okay? And the young man looked very cute, okay? So it was just hard. It's hard for me to, and that's why I was like, it must be hard in real life. But I also want, the trans youth to understand that is a huge transition for people to make. And I understand it's even huger for you, but you got to understand, like, if somebody pushed you out their body, it's hard for them to not see you the way they have always seen you. You know what I'm saying? But I did love the conversation. I love how Beth expressed that it was difficult for her, but she still wanted to be there for her son. She still wanted to show support to her son. You know what I mean? It was just because it's a tough conversation. It's tough subject matter. I am wondering how everybody's going to feel in about 30 or 40 years about this, and if they will still have those same feelings. Because honestly, sometimes I wonder if the reason why trans people feel the way they feel is because of the way society sees gender versus actually feeling like they don't like their bodies. Like, I wonder about like the psychology of it. And it's not in a disrespectful way, y'all. I just actually wonder sometimes, like, do you actually hate the body that you're in, or do you just hate the assignment that people have given you because of the body that you're in? You know, just conversations, y'all, you know. But I really did love that they were talking about that, and that Beth was expressing that it was difficult, but she still needed to be a good parent, you know. I love that Tammy was last too. I love that Tammy was last too. And Tammy got to call Reggie and say, baby, I see you in a few, because he was at the hotel around the corner. Child, I'm still not mad, and I still don't like the way they tried to make it seem like Tammy was wrong for having Reggie come to her aid. No, a man tells me he's going to physically harm me, I'm calling my fucking husband. And I don't care how anybody feels about it. We're not in 1993. We're not singles. I do come as a, you know, I do come with a partner. I do come with another person that handles my lightweight. I'm sorry, but as a man and woman, we all have our roles, and it's why we're one. It's because we both have roles that we do for the other person. Okay. And as a man, when you are the strong man that you're supposed to show up to make other men respect your wife, because otherwise they will not. David's punk ass only understands another man pressing him. He's not going to respect it coming from a woman. But Reggie needed to come up around there looking for him in order for David to go and sit his ass in a corner. Because David was going to keep pulling that, I'm on the phone with somebody while talking all of this shit that I'm going to do to Tammy shit. I'm going to snatch that wig. That shit not funny. We're grown. That shit not funny. My husband's here. Now what's up? John telling him like he didn't know. John knew Reggie came all up and through that house looking for his ass. David knew because his ass was on the beach waiting for Reggie to leave. And the producers gave him the perfect excuse to go run his ass away from Reggie's accountability. My husband's supposed to handle my lightweight. The fuck is we talking about? I'm never supposed to have to physically defend myself against another man when I'm walking around with somebody's ring on my finger. The fuck I look like? The fuck I look like? That lady did exactly what she was supposed to do. And everybody that got a problem with it, that's on you. That's your problem. Your kids were okay, Beth. The other Beth, didn't nobody care? Go in your room, bitch. Like, sitting up there talking about Tammy was wrong. Irene, shut up. Sitting up there talking about Tammy was wrong for calling her husband. The fuck? No, she wasn't. As soon as she felt like shit could get physical, Reggie, baby, come by. Niggas on one. Thank you. Click. Like, what? No, we don't do that. We don't do that. I don't know what the rules are in your household with your punk ass husband. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But another thing is that white women don't often get put in situations like that, because that black man would have never came up to none of you white women like that, because y'all have y'all whiteness to protect y'all. Black women always, not always, but a lot of time, black women either need a gun or another black man to protect them from other black men, because black men who want to disrespect or harm a black woman don't understand confrontation and conversation. They're going to disrespect the black woman. They're going to take it to that level, to that fit, because they're going to, if they can't fight you verbally, they're going to threaten you physically. And because a woman knows that 9 times out of 10, she's not going to be able to fight a man, no, you call your man for him. Because when I was trying to keep this shit verbally, you wanted to take it to some threatening, to some physical threats. So now I'm calling my husband. Reggie did what he was supposed to do. Reggie showed up to protect his wife. That's what he was supposed to do. Period. And I'm glad that it didn't get to a level where the police were called or anything like that, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted Reggie to show up and just have a conversation with David. I didn't want David's ass to get beat because we all know David wasn't gonna win no fight against no motherfucking Reggie talking all of that shit. Nigga, you were going to cower like the bitch that you are. I'm sorry. You were a bitch in 1993 and you're a bitch now. You one of them niggas that do all of that yang, 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 and they got all this extra vitriol and they got all this extra anger and fire behind their ass when they talking to a woman. But when a man comes into the room, now you're trying to have a conversation calmly and shit. David is one of those. David is one of those. I've seen them. I know them. Reggie was going to have a conversation. And that's the conversation that needed to be had. That if you threaten my wife again, I'm going to put my fucking hands on you. So keep it cute. Because obviously you needed me to come and have this conversation with you because you didn't receive it when she was saying it to you. Could your husband call you if the roles switched? Yes. The fuck? But what situation? First of all, to be clear, my husband just wouldn't be in a situation where a woman would be trying to fight him. Women don't often try to fight men who are 6'3" and 260 pounds. Like, women don't usually try to fight men that big. And you would have no reason to fight my husband because my husband is a very respectful man. No, Lyric is a sweetheart. Nobody would ever have a reason to come at Lyric like that. But what do you mean? Like, I show up if I feel like if the moment needs me to show up. Okay, meaning there could not have even been an issue, but do I need to come? But there's no reason for my husband to call me to fight anybody. We're not teenagers. There's no reason. The fuck? And then I think it's weird that, like, I almost think it's weird that you're asking that question, JW, because it's like, so why would a man need to call his woman to come and physically protect him? That's not my role. That's not my role. So why would my husband have to call me to come and defend him physically? He would never have to do that. He would never have to do that. I just think it's weird when men and women argue, especially because I feel like a lot of the times the conversation, like the arguments are too much, way too much. What is the issue of having a man with muscles if you can't call him into hello? That is exactly, listen, and when I tell y'all, I'm one of those people that would never, ever try to call my husband to come and handle no bullshit because I don't want him involved in no bullshit. I'll handle my own bullshit 9 times out of 10. But let me feel physically like I'm being threatened by another man and watch how fast not only do I call him, but I call my cousins too. He's not going to come alone. I met him, y'all, at the Blackout in 2015. Wonderful encounters. Oh, hey, Mrs. Matthew, how you doing? Yeah, no, Lyric. Everybody loves Lyric. Everybody loves Lyric. Lyric is not. He's not that type. Yes, because no dude should argue to put hands on a female. I'd rather a woman argue with another woman. Oh, but see, you ain't gotta argue with no bitch. You just walk away. You just walk away. You ain't gotta argue with no bitch, JW. You ain't gotta argue with no bitch. All that pacing back and forth behind me and talking smack. I am calling back up too. The fuck out of here. I'm saying he was doing a lot of, yeah, exactly. A real alpha man doesn't aim to catfight with women. Exactly. Like my husband, and I don't even like that term alpha man. I just kind of feel like any self-respecting man is not gonna get into a screaming match with a woman he's not fucking. Most niggas aren't gonna do that. They, man, I'm about to argue with this bitch, man, whatever. They get themselves out the situation. At least most men that I know, that's how they would handle it. Thank you. Oh no, that's Mo. But in my family, we do, we about that. Like, don't play. That's why Fraud didn't try Asian doll like that, because she was with some dudes that will handle that. Yes, exactly. And I said that shit. I said the only reason that they didn't press her the way they probably would have if she was by herself is because there was some men there to defend her. There was some men there to make sure it didn't go down like that. Child, they say they trying to get the ladies. They trying to get the ladies on Trey Songz, y'all. Because Trey Songz, I talked to y'all about what was going on with Trey Songz in my last BondyBlue show. Monique Samuel spotted filming Love and Marriage DMV. So y'all, Love and Marriage DMV is happening, okay? So y'all make sure y'all get ready for that because we're going to review that on my channel. And okay, here it is. This is the last thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about. Thank you, Shanita, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Okay. You don't say it either, motherfucker. I'm sorry, y'all. I am keeping this in here for the anytime somebody says something crazy to me, like I'm gonna start putting this shit up.